Rule 2. Develop your ideas in a natural order. From a Workbook for Arguments by Morrow and Weston. The objectives of this rule are to first learn the value of presenting an argument so that your thought process is clear to a reader. Then, you get the opportunity to consider an example of an argument with a clear order and purpose, as well as an example of the same argument presented in a way so that it's not so clear. Short arguments are usually developed in 1 or 2 paragraphs. You can put the conclusion first, followed by your premises that support this conclusion, or you can present your premises first and then draw the conclusion at the end. It's important to present your ideas in an order that work through the line of thought in a way that's going to be clear to the reader. So, to get an idea of what this looks like, let's consider this short argument by Bertrand Russell. The evils of the world are due to moral defects quite as much as to lack of intelligence, but the human race has not hitherto discovered any method of eradicating moral defects. Intelligence, on the contrary, is easily improved by methods known to every competent educator. Therefore, until some method of teaching virtue has been discovered, progress will have to be sought by improving of intelligence rather than of morals. So, how does this argument develop? Each sentence in this passage prepares the way for the next sentence, and then the next sentence clearly follows after that. Russell begins by pointing out 2 sources of evil in the world: moral defects, and as he puts it, lack of intelligence. He then claims that we don't know how to correct moral defects, but that we do know how to correct lack of intelligence. So, progress is going to have to come by improving our intelligence. This seems like it's fairly straightforward to present a clear argument. However, be careful, it's not so easy. Getting an argument to unfold in this smooth sort of way is really a big accomplishment, and you should feel good about it when you get there. It's not easy to find just the right place for each part and each premise of your argument, and there's plenty of wrong places available for you to put the steps as you develop your reasoning. Suppose, for example, Russell instead argued like this: the evils of the world are due to moral defects quite as much as to lack of intelligence. Until some method of teaching virtue has been discovered, progress will have to be sought by improvement of intelligence rather than of morals. Intelligence is easily improved by methods known to every competent educator. The human race has not hitherto discovered any means of eradicating moral defects. These are the same premises and conclusion, but they're in a different order, and the word therefore has been left out before the conclusion. Now the argument's much harder to understand, I'm sure that's pretty clear, and therefore it's also much less persuasive. The premises don't fit together naturally, and you have to read the passage twice just to figure out what the conclusion even is. And the thing to keep in mind is that you shouldn't count on your readers to be so patient. Certainly, as an instructor, it's also important not to count on your instructor to be patient to work through your reasoning many times until it becomes clear. And I think this is a good lesson. Okay, so what do? Well, when we're working through an argument, we should expect to rearrange it several times so that we can find the most natural order. I think that the rules that we discuss in this book will help us with this, and we'll get a lot of practice. And you can use the rules to figure out not only what kinds of premises you need, but also how to arrange them in the best order. This is going to take practice, but it's something that you'll get better at, and we're going to have a lot of opportunity to practice. All right, so to review, in this video, you should have had the opportunity to learn the value of presenting an argument so that your thought process is clear to the reader, and had the opportunity to consider an example of an argument with a clear order and purpose, as well as the opportunity to consider an example of the same argument presented in such a way that it wasn't so clear.